Okay, looks like we've started.
Alright, good luck to the runners. This is an 8% race. Specter's movement is kind of interesting. He does little short hops. He can use his scythe to slash up enemies or down enemies depending on what way their little verticals are. He can walk up walls slightly. He can also bounce off walls by doing a Mega Man X style hop. And you're going to just see a really good display of the movement in both runners here.
So we're already seeing a bit of a difference. The Red Skull's already picked up by Fortuity Steelheart. That could, as far as I know Steelheart is at least doing bounding still, so that could be part of the indicator there.
Yep, so you're going to see a route difference here, as Troy said. He is going for the bounding soul route, but he needs 6 skulls at the end of the stage. On L is going to need 5 skulls, since he usually mains the skeletal sentry route at this point. So the red skulls can be used later on in the game to pick up sub-weapons called curios. They're going to be picking up one common one, and then there are different ones that'll change your stage order, the different things they can do in their game.
Looks like Onel's opting to get the health. I heard him talking about that before. He pretty much always gets the health. So that's pretty much par for the course for Onel.
Yeah, and in the race situation, it's not a bad idea either. You never know what can happen.
Not at all, no. I would not be against anyone doing it. So we're about to head into the Black Knight fight on Steelheart's screen. And the fight is, luckily, just like all the other characters, we have been able to find a stun lock, but it's still a pretty precise one to get. You actually have to be hitting him at the right spot, otherwise he gets out of that stun lock completely.
So basically, you're going to try to knock him and Terrapin against the wall, and they're going to keep him behind the big waterfall. If they don't do that, then he gets away, and then they have to improvise the rest of the fight. Steelheart getting the quick kill there, and a middle placement of Terrapin. The stage ends and Terrapin leaves the stage, and you want him to be as right as possible. So decent fight there, pretty much on par. On L finishing the fight, and unfortunately Terrapin's on the left, so unfortunately getting the walk of shame, but that's not a big deal. They're finishing the first stage and going on.
So now we're in the hub world on Steelheart's side. This is where you get to buy your curios, as we were saying before, with the red skulls, armor upgrades, and any wisps that you did not pick up. The health upgrade that On had picked up earlier was what's known as a wisp. So if you did not get those in the stage, you can pick those up here for some money. And then also it's a stage select screen, and you can select any stage. So why don't you explain why we're in Flying Machine right now?
Yes, the Flying Machine and the other campaigns is one of the final stages that you do. It's one of the more dangerous stages because of all the different hazards, but and the boss fight Propeller Knight can do tons of damage. But the reason they're doing this is because they get a lot of money, and it'll unlock Judgment Rush. Can you tell us about Judgment Rush that they'll be getting later on?
So Judgment Rush, so you get that curio from the stage, and basically whenever you activate it, you will be you'll fly to the nearest enemy on the screen that you are able to get to. And we'll go over that a bit in later stages. It becomes clear if they do a certain trick, but typically you're just brought to the nearest enemy to you. And that allows us to go across many screens and skip multiple areas. And so that was a good mid-boss fight by Steelheart there, getting some good quick kills in there.
Right, and part of the reason that this stage is dangerous is because they're breaking a lot of checkpoints and the usual routes to get enough money. So obviously a death can really set you back. We'll see how they contend with that.
So now both players are in the auto-scroller. There's some opportunities to get some red skulls here as we just wait for people to go through the auto-scroller completely.
And one of the things both runners are hoping for is to beat the looping of the soundtrack by the top of this to get an early fan cycle to get the maximum fast time. Onel unfortunately not getting it, but he will be going for the extra gold anyway, and just taking it as it goes. Steelheart dealing with the dreaded triple Jawa room. Best 1, best 2, and he gets it. Really nicely done there.
Okay, so now we're going to go into Propeller Knight fight on Steelheart's screen. And Propeller Knight, he can be very difficult. He does a full heart of damage with each of his charges. And then after a bit, he's going to go into breaking the floor. And that becomes a hassle as we were trying to... It's hard to hit him sometimes, and he's just flying around, and you have a chance to fall off the stage completely as well. And good job dealing from Onel on that triple Jawa stage, triple Jawa screen.
Alright, and Steelheart gets the kill there, and Onel onto the fight. See how many hits he gets on it before the pillar breaks. While he's doing this, Steelheart's going to be getting the Judgment Rush ability, which allows you to teleport, basically to lock onto enemies across the screen, hits you through walls, and gets you across the game a little quicker. And can you tell us a little bit about the rail mail he'll be getting in a minute?
So yeah, you're also going to be getting the rail mail from Manny over there, just to the right of, the right thing, right of where he just got Judgment Rush, and it basically allows you to rail anywhere as you're skateboarding on the floor. And it allows you to do it over spikes as well, and it's just a generally faster way of movement.
So now you're going to see a stage difference here. Steelheart going for the Explodatorium in order to get the Bounding Soul item. He's going to get 2 skulls in the stage. And you're going to see Han go into the Lich Yard to get more skulls and to unlock the Skeletal Century, which he'll get 2 stages later on. So right now, Steelheart's trying to go fast enough to beat the pot cycles, because these are on global cycles, so he's trying to go fast enough, but not too fast, kind of a happy medium, in order to get pot cycles and not have to wait when he gets there. Doing a decent job so far. See if he gets it in a minute.
It looks like that was a pretty good cycle to get, even if he wasn't exactly on it. He got a pretty good time. Oh, and Onel dying.
Yeah, that bush can be a little tricky, but let's see if he can pick up that extra money. Not a terribly big deal right now, but let's see if he gets it. If he gets the big bag at least, then he's on to the rest of the stage.
And grab the checkpoint, good idea there.
Steelheart heading into the Alchemist fight, so this is a danger between his route, because he has to do this fight low percent without any items, trying to get as many hits as possible before he transforms. Decent fight. Nice damage boost there.
Steelheart breaking a lot of checkpoints that I would not break on the stage.
Well, he actually needs to break 3 of them in his route to get enough gold for...
Oh, right, of course, yes. How am I?
He's breaking 3 of the 500 ones. He's heading at the Plague Knight, which, good thing he picked up a health there. Gets a good rush there. And the danger with this fight is that Plague Knight is just teleporting across the screen a bit. He can clone himself, and you don't really have a useful item against him at this point. So this is the low percent fight you'll be seeing on his screen. On doing a nice job. The death didn't seem to affect him much, and he's just going fast through the Lich Yard, heading into the Dark Room soon, and into the Phantom Striker fight. Can you tell us a little bit about the Phantom Striker?
So Phantom Striker has a lot of invincibility times. He only has a few opportunities to be able to get hits, and when you do get that, you only can get in 4 hits at a time. So it's just going to be a lot of avoiding the projectile he's throwing at you and getting as many hits as you can as quickly as you can.
He gets a good intro in there. Steelheart going into the memory. So you go into Specter Knight's past as Donovan, traveling with his companion Mulan, and basically just finish this stage as fast as possible and get some gold on the way. For some reason, the gold does get applied to the present.
My theory is
nice
that
fight on Phantom Striker.
Yeah, good fight for Striker. And my theory is that they end up just finding it in his code. It's like, oh, this is here apparently.
Probably in his locket in the secret compartment.
Okay, now we got Steelheart getting the Bounding Soul. Right now, it's the first Bounding Soul as it is just going to be able to shoot 45-degree angles and 2 at a time, and it will not pierce. It will just get destroyed as soon as it hits an enemy. So it's not as useful as it will be once we upgrade it in the future. But for now, we got to deal with it as is.
We'll be heading into the Lost City, which again is another dangerous one because you have less darkness to deal with than you do in On's route, and you're going to be having to do a lot of mana management along the way. So we'll see how he can tend to this as On finishes memory, and he'll head into the Clockwork Tower. Another difference is that he won't get his item until after the 3rd stage.
Yeah, so you also see On picking up a lot of gold so that he has enough for upgrades when he needs them. There's actually, you get a lot more gold a lot earlier in the Skeletor route than you do with Bounding Soul.
Steelheart not quite getting the fastest Green Lantern cycle, but overall decent room so far. No deaths yet, that's great. That's a good thing to happen on this stage. Its death is very easy. The
On-L taking it slow on this screen.
So the Clockwork Tower can be very dangerous because the checkpoints are just out of the way, so you have to be very mindful if you want to pick one up. And you have to manage darkness a little bit, even with 3. With all the tricks that you can do, you can still run out pretty easily.
Oh, Steelheart forcing to rush stall there.
So you'll notice that Steelheart just got a little extra movement out of the Judgment Rush. You can actually, when you're climbing walls, you can use it, and you can then continue climbing walls using a false Judgment Rush.
Yeah, so if there are no enemies on the screen at the time when you use the Judgment Rush, it'll just pause you in midair and reset your wall climb. Really good job there with the bouncing blocks.
Yeah, he went for the low percent strat, which can be really risky, but you hit the blocks at the top and then you bounce on the lantern. He almost didn't make it, but he caught himself. Now he's on to the Mole Knight fight. He'll be trying to use his Bounding Soul and hit him along the way. He's going to wait a little bit when he gets to the right wall, and then hopefully kill him before he goes underground.
Well done. Okay, so Tinker Knight stage is actually a pretty long one. It's got 2 auto-scrollers. We're in the first one right now. So even even with the amount of time that that On is behind in right now, it's gonna look like he's even further behind given the fact that how long this stage is. And now we have Steelheart upgrading his Bounding Soul to its better form as now he can have 4 on screen, and it will pierce enemies going through them, being able to hit enemies multiple times. And then we're going into Dark Reese. Dark Reese fight, he'll teleport around a lot. He can be a general hassle, and he's just going to be trying to get him, kill him early before he goes teleports away for a very long time, so you just want to be able to get this kill quickly.
On doing a really nice job with the Clockwork Tower. Very well done. Not much time lost, and looks like he's gonna get through the second auto-scroller, we hope, and then on to the Tinker Knight fight. Can you tell us a little bit about his Tinker Knight fight and why it can be dangerous sometimes?
So Tinker Knight, they decided to make him much harder in this character. There is no quick kill possible really for the first phase, and his gear does a full heart of damage. It's going to be moving up and down. He's going to be completely out of your way a lot of the time, and he's also got his wrenches that he's throwing around. Those only do half a heart of damage, but it's still just a general nuisance going on there before you even get to the phase 2, where the mech comes out.
Everyone, please type Snail Parade into the chat so Steelheart knows that this is called Snail Parade.
Yes, this is indeed the snail. That was the Snail Parade screen that he went through. Very important.
Hashtag it's not crap party. Okay, On doing some decent damage on the first part. Steelheart doing really good movement in Treasure Knight stage. That is his next stage.
That was a pretty good kill. Having 2 hearts left. And ending up on the right side of the screen is very good as well. And we got Steelheart now doing 420 fish. Pretty nice. Let's see if let's see if Onel can get these good combos.
Yeah, so good thing Onel finished him to the right, so he could get onto him pretty quickly, using a combination of rushes to keep in the air with Tinker Knight.
Steelheart getting the 1 cycle on 420 fish. Good job.
That's definitely an advantage to the Bounding Souls, that if you get a good angle, you can get the angler down really fast.
I believe his official name was Teethalon, if we're going to go by that. And now we're going to be moving on for Steelheart into Big Bertha. He'll do a full 2 hearts of damage if you get hit by him or her. And it's just not a good time. You're doing whatever you can to get to avoid her and try to kill her with the only thing that can kill her, the anchors. So good delay there just to kill her to be safe.
You gotta work on your genders, dude.
It's fine.
So, On is now upgrading his Skeletal Sentry, and he's getting to use it for the first time. Skeletal Sentry is just a sentry that you throw out. You can shoot 2 rounds of basically magic bullets to enemies to maximize damage. It's a ground item, so when enemies are in the air, it's not as useful. But let's see if you can make good use of it in his Reese fight. Steelheart going and finishing a Treasure Knight fight. That's how fast it happens. You miss it if you blink.
And On now fighting Reese. You can see the difference with having the Skelebro now. And now we're seeing Steelheart do the Licharge stage, and you can see how much different it's going to be not having to pick up any of the red skulls and not having to... I'm reading other stuff. But yeah, not having to... not have enough darkness and just be able to go through it a bit differently. Not different amount of darkness is definitely a good part here.
Yeah, and he won't need any items either, so he can just go through the stage as fast as possible. Actually, the rest of his stages basically are going as fast as possible. Same with On at this point, now having both items that he needs. Doing a decent job at the beginning of the stage, getting some help for safety. Dealing with the eels now.
Yeah, and we saw Onel using the feature of the Judgment Rush that I was talking about before, is being that if the enemy that is closest to you would put you in a place that you couldn't be, it will just bring you to another enemy, and it'll keep doing that until it finds the enemy that you actually can Judgment Rush to. And so because of the setup there, it brings you all the way to the left.
So with Onel going to the 420 fish, there is a quick kill he can get with the Skeletal Sentry and a combination of some seriously crazy slashes. We'll see how he contends with the 420 fish with his loadout, while Steelheart is going to the incredible Phantom Striker fight, which is so different with Bounding Soul because of how much damage you can do quickly. You can really skip some of the cycles he has because of it. I'm going to let his fight speak for itself.
While that's happening, it looks like Onel is at least going for the extra hit that you can get here. He does get that. So just one hit short of a one cycle, which is pretty much as good as you can get unless you're going for that precise strat.
Really nice Phantom Striker fight from Steelheart.
Yeah, got some good dribbles in there.
Playing it a little safe on the missiles, I don't blame him there. But now he can take one hit with safety, get some health, so now he can take an extra hit from Bertha just in case. The one thing that can kill Bertha is the Anchor, which is a safe strat, uses the Judgment Rush to stall, and is on to the rest of his stage. Now, his Treasure Knight fight can also go very quickly.
Go Luan, go! Go Luan, go! Sorry.
Yeah. So can you talk to us about the memory?
Okay, yeah, so we're in the second memory now, and we were hoping that Luan would continue to run at full pace, but he did not do that. So we're basically, it's just another memory of, there will be a boss fight at the end of this as well, but we won't see that for a bit. Almost there, though. And now we're in Treasure Knight's fight, also going to go much quicker now that we have a fully upgraded Skelebro. We now also have the Caltrops, which we could have gotten Flashback 1, but we are now getting a Flashback 2 because Luan just gives it to you. So, Shield Knight, you can only hit her in the back, and your Caltrops can hit her once they're fully settled on the ground. She will charge through them, though, sometimes.
Really nice treasure fight for On. Now he's getting his next Darkness and going into the Lost City, which now you can see that it's a little safer to do Lost City with that route because of how much darkness he has. He can use rushes a little more freely, has more room for error just in case.
Yeah, it was a very good quick kill by on Shield Knight there. Not like an official quick kill, but it was a very quick kill. So.
Luan, quick kill. That's what he gets for making you lose a second. Now, Steelheart going onto the Clockwork Tower later in this run, but it's basically the same stage because of how the items are used. So you'll be seeing very similar strats. Maybe you'll see some different ones from Steelheart.
I mean, the main difference is going to be the boss fight at the end. Other than that, I don't think there's much difference on this stage that you're going to see.
Uses a good rush there on screen to get through the beetle skip successfully.
On running on very little darkness right now, but not gonna have to be using it for a bit, so that's fine. Overall, he's trying to play it as safe as he can.
The Lost City sometimes is lost for your soul just gets lost in this stage sometimes.
Yeah.
Taking it a little safe here, especially with the damage I can see.
Yeah, I don't blame any of these movements at all. These are very just reserved movements and trying to stay alive.
Very good choices from the runner here, showing really good adaptability.
Looks like we're not seeing any swag strats from Steelheart here. This is gonna be waiting it out.
Usually get a heart attack if somebody goes on the spike.
Oh! Taking damage from the Duck Knight there.
Good thing we had the checkpoint. Now he has full health again, at least. And should be able to get that money back, we hope. And Steelheart getting the quick cycle there, going through the gears, using Judgment Rush. Now with his Tinker Knight fight coming up, it has the potential to be a little quicker because of his item. He can use the Bounding Soul to increase the damage.
Okay, baiting out the Duck Knight and not going for that checkpoint before this before this vertical auto-scroller here, which is the, as we know now, the last one before Tinker Knight. And On's about to go into his Mole Knight fight.
Doesn't quite get it.
Oh, and he's going into his green slime phase too. Oh, wait a bit there.
Still a decent fight there. Skeletal Sentry can definitely lay on the damage for you. He's a few gold short of a potential upgrade, but good thing we're going into the memory. Let's hope his Luan is a little more agreeable. Steelheart a little low.
Half a heart left and still 2 hits to get. Oh! Oh! The Bounding Soul hits it for him!
One of the best things about Yakult games is that if you die, but then the boss dies, you live.
Yeah, so that was some really clutch plays by the Bounding Soul. Totally calculated.
Unfortunately, he had to waste a little bit of time because Tinker Knight ended on the left, so he's not able to do the optimal strats here, but still dealing with it very nicely. On getting some health into the Shield Knight fight. Shield Knight Lady Reinhardt can definitely be a little bit unfriendly sometimes. Gets the good Caltrop throw for the damage in the beginning. Tinker Knight down for Steelheart after the heart attack.
Yes, the heart attack that we all had, even he had it. Especially him, probably.
Okay, then you can say hello to Baz and goodbye to Baz as he interrupts you from going to the stage.
And that lets us know that we have 2 stages left before we go into the tower stages. So now we're doing King Knight. Primordial Keep.
Does he get the early cycle? He just
there.
Gets it. Nice.
Just barely, yeah.
On heading into the Explodatorium. So his, again, he has more darkness than Steelheart did on this stage, So there's more potential for extra rushes if he desires.
Decides to Judgment Rush through that bodyguard there. Security guard. Gets the book skip there. Well done. Gets the pot cycle properly. Not getting the greatest pot cycle here. That's okay still.
Good finesse Steelheart, using a rush there to get a good damage boost there to get the quickest, one of the quickest books possible in his route. He's sending it to the King Knight fight. He can be a little dangerous sometimes, but he's going to be trying to lay down the damage with those Bounding Souls in specific places. Hopefully does he get the trumpets.
Yeah, if you get the trumpets, you know you've been at this fight for too long. So that was a very good quick kill there.
And the King of Cards is down.
And now you get to see how much easier Mad Scientist here can be when you have the skeletal sentry or any weapon for that matter, really.
On pausing there, that's a good choice. Really, sometimes just trying to brute force the fire cycles isn't a good option because you're just going to keep getting damage when you really just can't go faster than it lets you sometimes. Really nicely done there. Now heading into the Big Knight fight in a minute here. Will be a slightly easier because of Skeletal Sentry. He can just rain down the bullets while fighting Plague Knight as Steelheart was.
But still respecting Plague Knight as he is, because taking the health and the magic restoration there.
Steelheart gonna head into the mini boss of Polar Knight Sage. He's gonna try to land the basketballs in a way to kill this one in one hit. And he just misses it. And he gets the invisible wall. So he gets up there though.
He does get there. Nice. Yeah. So typically you actually try to delay that one cycle just a little bit so you can actually be able to use that use the rainbow as a platform to get up there and not have to use the ladder. And let's see how many basketball strats we're gonna get to see here. He's not going from downtown, but he is gonna get the gnarly dunk. Well done.
Talking to him before, this is one of the stages he's really excited for, just for all the different strats he can show in this one. Like especially that Judgment Rush strat there, continuing to use that to skip parts of the level, which is a nice element of the item. Also going into the Stranded Ship now. He does it the last two stages in reverse order in the Skeletal Sentry route. His strats, there are many possible, but will be a little different because of the different items.
He can actually do a couple more tricks just because of him having a 5 magic instead of Steelheart's 4 magic on this stage.
Nice damage boost off the gold armor there. And then the Polar Knight fight is a little more tricky for Steelheart because the Skeletal Sentry is optimal for the way he acts. Doesn't get the quickest possible kill, but still a decent time there for Polar Knight. On saving that darkness for later, perhaps.
this room can just be annoying sometimes.
Yeah, those backwards rails, if you don't jump soon enough, they can do that to you and waste some of your time, unfortunately. Is he gonna go? He's going for it? Oh, unfortunately misses it.
Missing the rally toss, yeah.
That's a crazy trick for sure. I'm really glad he tried it.
So now we're on to Tower 1 on Steelheart's screen. Tower 1 is a stage that just combines a lot of the different techniques that we've learned throughout all the other stages. Going to be trying to get an early book cycle here. Well done. And just a lot of just early cycles you're trying to get and not dying because you're doing these early cycles when we're trying to go fast.
Wano getting the part of the trick down to Judgment Rush on the Sorcerer. Sorry,
Yeah,
the name of the enemy
harder than books, actually.
escapes me. Unfortunately, goes into the next room.
You think it's just a simple Judgment Rush, but it is definitely more than that.
That's probably one of the more difficult rushes in the game. His Polar Knife fight, he can throw Skeletal Sentry down, and hopefully if the timing is right, he can damage him while he slides across the screen.
On taking no chances with any of the bosses. And now we're on to the bounce house for Steelheart.
Really nice fight from Owen. Really nice.
Yeah, it was nicely done. Very quick. And the new, now we're on to the second time we've seen, technically third time we've seen Big Bertha. We count both streams. Well done there. And on to the auto-scroller.
It's probably one of the best auto-scrollers in the whole game. Just
yeah, it's very well designed.
The tower.
Yeah, it's a good lead-in, it's well designed, and honestly there's some puzzling aspects to it as well, like being thinking about wall climbing and then jumping to the other side of the lantern here. I don't think I actually thought to do that the first time casually.
Yeah, it definitely takes you a bit the first time to be like, oh, that's what you want me to do? Okay, Yako Games, I can do that. But this is like the really the Tower of Fates right here. This is the Tower of Torment, as he's going to be facing Black Knight 2, Black Knight Returns. Can you tell us why that's a dangerous fight?
So Black Knight 2 has a lot of, he's just going to be flying around in the air, and there's no opportunities to use your weapons at all if you fight him in the air. But you can bring him down to the ground, and it's there you can use your weapons, but it's still, you got Terrapin in the way, and it's just a lot of random elements, and him avoiding your attacks as much as he can. It's almost like he knows when you're going to attack.
Steelheart choosing to do the lower strategy. Doing a really decent job keeping the damage on him. Every 3 hits, Black Knight tries to teleport away from you or kind of dash jump away from you.
Oh, Bounding Soul's going through him as he gets back on Terrapin.
And when he gets to half a heart, he tries to jump back on Terrapin. And
that was some lucky Bounding Souls, yeah.
Slam a jam a kill. On midway through his King Knight stage, Pridemore Keep, he has a little more darkness than Steelheart did.
Yeah, so yet again, he's able to get some different tricks that Steelheart could not do, because of the more magic that he has.
Gets a great damage boost there.
Yeah. Still deciding to take it slow on these books, waiting a bit for the lava cycles to go through.
So, would you mind talking us through the Enchantress?
So Enchantress is going to be made pretty easy in certain spots. If you use the Bounding Soul correctly, going to be able to get some double hits, and if it's done correctly, even fight her below the stage. So there's just but generally she is going to be doing a full heart of damage when she charges, and you just don't want to be getting hit at all because she does a lot. She hurts a lot. It's just not fun.
And King Knight dying on stage, meaning he's done with all the knights and is heading into his tower stages.
So let's see if Steelheart goes for that quick kill I was talking about.
No, doesn't quite get it. Gets half the health though. Definitely one of the powers of Bounding Soul is that the damage you can do so quickly against her. Ooh, he's very low. Please don't get hit again.
Oh, okay, getting hit with a fire, which is only half a heart there. He is out of magic, so he's completely relying on being able to hit her during these charges.
Right now, anything can kill him, but he breathes a sigh of relief as he kills Enchantress instead. Gets the recharge of health onto Nightmare Reese, which is truly a nightmare because the rails are randomly generated, and he's going to be throwing Bounding Souls to get damage and him down as fast as possible. On, doing a good opening of the tower stage, heading into the Crushers, see if he gets to 2 cycle. No, he does not, so he plays it safe. Good call. Steelheart going damageless so far.
And time.
And a 41-41. Pretty decent time. Really nice time for Steelheart, especially in a race situation. He's
on barely getting through there.
43. He got it. Nicely done.
Yeah, he's only he's less than a minute away from his own PB, so that was very well done.
Ooh, On doing a nice save there on the green blocks. Heading into his big Bertha room.
Hey. Hi, Steelheart. What's going on?
Okay, On heading into Black Knight in a minute here after the rails. He can do some different strats. He can use Skeletal Sentry to explode onto Black Knight if he chooses to. One of the things he can do is when you're throwing him or when he's on the ground, you can explode him to create a T-shaped explosion. We're going to see what kind of kill he goes for. He's going for the aerial fight. Is he getting knocked down yet? Keeping the lock on him.
Getting hit by the magnetic balls there. Now we have to wait around as you're waiting for the good opportunity to hit him, and he's going to try to hit him off here. Done.
Basically, once Black Knight does that attack, you have to knock him down, basically, to save some time. On the ground, so he can use Skeletal Sentry, so you can see the damage goes. He has to avoid Terrapin, because Terrapin can do a full-hearted damage, but Black Knight is down for him.
Well done there.
He's on to his Tower 2. He's going to get the Charge Mail, the final piece of his route.
Yeah, it's known as the Striker Shawl is the official name. So, yeah, you hold down on the attack button to get a charge attack, which will do a full heart of damage instead of the half heart, which is what we typically have. And that'll allow us, since we can't really use Skeletal Sentry on these fights as easily, it'll allow us to allow the Excalibur route to go a bit faster in this than they normally would be able to. Well dealt with there on that room. Did not get the trick to end up in the top right corner, so really had to be able to dodge those blocks.
One of the challenges with the Enchantress and why you use a charge mail is, again, Skeletal Sentry is a ground item, and she's in the air half the time. So you need to be using, ideally, your tools well. You can hit her underground with the explosions, but that's why you have the charge mail to Striker Shawl, to get full hearts of damage to make up for it.
Along with that, we now see the Nightmare Reese fight, and you can see there's no ground for that one. So there's nowhere for your skeletal sentry to land at all. So having that Striker Shawl allows you to actually be able to hit him for a bit more damage.
And actually, did he pick it up? Because I'm noticing his gold is up there, and he's at 9,000.
Yeah, I don't think he actually did pick it up. When I ran this earlier, when I used to run this earlier, I mean, you forget to take it up. I mean, it is some good practice to not have Striker Shawl.
I forgot to notice.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I think he just forgot to buy it.
But he's doing a really nice job dealing with her. Really nice fight so far.
Yeah, getting some good explosions from the Skeletal Sentry to be able to get her down a bit quicker.
Now, with basically itemless aside from Rush, we'll see how Nightmare Reese goes for him. Hopefully the rails are in his favor.
Oh, taking a good slash there on the Lantern. That was some very good reaction time there.
And time, 47:52. Really close to his PB time, so really well done on. Really nice race.
A good race by both runners there. Both getting very close to their own PBs, so that's very good to see.
We actually have Steelheart in the chat with us, so what did you think of the run?
Sorry, I just had to unmute. All I have to say is that Tinker fight was awesome.
Yeah, I saw your face on stream and it's like lit up like a Christmas tree.
I was so disappointed for a second. It was like the stray basketball hit him, and it was like, oh my god.
Yeah, you
that actually happened.
You got really lucky with some of those basketballs. Even on Black Knight 2 as well, like him being able to jump a bit at the end.
That one you can manipulate because as soon as you walk under him, he'll always jump. So once the basketballs get above him, I walk under him. That one's
okay. So well done knowing Black Knight 2 and being able to manipulate him correctly.
Aside from that, I really like the Polar Knight. The Polar Knight stage was good. It was a good race, though, I think.
Yeah, you did well. Getting very close to your own PB there, so that was nice.
Only about a minute off, which is pretty nice.
Apparently, we have On-L in here as well. How you feeling after that?
Well, a little exhausted. I was really nervous when it first started, but then there was this big wait when it didn't start. But then I got nervous again when it started again. And then I just started playing and it was alright. I felt a little stupid for myself when I messed up some of the deaths I had. Like the one in the Lich Yard. That definitely was not intended, as has never happened to me personally before. Yeah, I did the best I could at the time. I definitely could have done better.
So
Um,
we were also
but,
Brasswolf and I were also noticing you didn't take a striker shawl at the end there. Are you just not used to using that?
I've done it a few times before, but yeah, I don't do striker shawl. I've tried it, but I'm more comfortable with going without it. It's just like trying to charge up the attacks and then hit the enchantress with it, in addition to dodging and moving. I've got my system in place, and it's just I don't like using striker shawl.
It all comes down to personal preference, I guess. So yeah.
Yeah, it's personal preference more than anything. I don't like using striker shawl. Oh well, but I did the best I could.
Yeah, and you got really close to your PB, so really good game, really nice gameplay.
Yeah, it's 20 seconds off. It did go back and forth, up and down with my times.
Yeah,
It's really
considering
good
Yeah.
victories.
yeah, considering your nerves and everything, I feel like you honestly were doing pretty well for what you were dealing with.
Oh well. Thanks, I guess. I hope I was entertaining.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
definitely
you got
was.
some heart attacks, so yeah.
Yeah, quite a few close calls from both of you.
Yeah,
Well, that's pretty much
apparently,
what we're seeing in every race.
yeah.
I was on half
the
a heart
Black
with
Knight-
Enchantress.
Black Knight 2 fight, I was glad I didn't die on that. And Enchantress, I think I did really well.
Yeah, you did. You dodged a lot of her hits, and you got so many opportunities to hit her, and you took them.
Yeah, he did some good.
I've-
exploits with the-
I've practiced on doing Enchantress. It's just that system of getting the dash slashes in when possible, when she's dashing and hitting them with the Skillabur whenever I can. That's my system. It's just the Striker Shawl doesn't fit into that.
Okay, well, I'm gonna start wrapping this up because I do need to get to sleep soon.
Alright, well, fair
So-
enough.
Yeah, so good job to the runners.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here just to entertain. Hope I
It
was
was a
well.
good race, man. Good
I'll
game.
try to do better in my next races then. But thank you.
And thank you to tuning in despite all the technical difficulties that we were having. So
Yeah,
thanks
and,
to all the viewers.
Hopefully tomorrow you should see Oddpod versus JC at 4 p.m. Followed by Newbie versus Patwa at 8 p.m. tomorrow. Should be two good races. I am Brass Wolf. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, I'm Troy of Athens.
Many years ago, the kingdom of Britannia stood proud, defying the forces of evil guarded by Arthur and his magical sword, Excalibur. Now there are many who would see this great land fall. These stalwart knights will stop them through chivalry, honor, and teamwork. Go knights, defend the realm.